Very good. Good morning. Welcome back to Cool Your Heels with Lillian Caldwell on AMFM247.com and Passionate World Talk Radio, the world in your hands. And our special guest this morning is Laura Fobler, who wrote a book called Parenting World Peace. And it's a different type of book for parents parenting their children, because in it, she teaches parents how to teach kids how to approach world peace, because it's a small world after all. So good morning, Laura. How are you this morning?
Good morning, Lillian. Thanks for having me here.
Well, I am delighted to have you. When I saw the title of your book, I wanted to introduce you to the world.
That's wonderful. That's just awesome.
Yeah. So when you put together your book, how did you go about setting it up so that you could introduce your concept of world peace?
Well, it seems to be an easy question, but it's not so simple to answer that question, because it took me quite some time to think about that. Actually, it took me about 4 or 5 years, I guess, before I was ready to have the concept in place and to actually write the book. Because I saw there is a clear connection between the way that parents interact with their children and the conflicts that happen in our world. And the funny thing is that most parents are afraid of the global conflict, but they are oblivious to the fact that they're contributing to the same problem as well. So that took me some time to discover the actual problem and how to approach it. And in the meantime, because I am a parenting trainer as well, I came across many problems of parents. So, and in the end, after extensive research for about 4 or 5 years, I came up with the 7 simple steps to world peace.
One of the things that I feel is a connection is the kids' behavior. And that if the parents don't act well with the children who are taking notes, that I feel world peace will not be achieved unless the kids really learn how to act and interact with each other and other people.
Yeah, I agree. And the key in solving this problem is in the behavior of the parent. And that is the big paradox in this whole situation, because parents think that the kids need to change, while in fact the parents need to learn new behavior. Does this make sense?
It does to me. I mean, if you take a good look at the way our leaders act, well, maybe not so bad where you are, but in the States right now, they're really setting some bad examples of how people should behave. If you don't get your own way, you throw a temper tantrum. You use slicings and derogatory comments to get what you want. So do you think that both parent and child should be held to the same set of rules instead of the old adage that I'm your parent, do as I say and not as I do?
Well, if you approach parenting like that, that is a way of instilling a power system. You know, I'm the boss and I'm the one who sets the standards for right and wrong and nice and beautiful and so on. While if you approach relationships in an equal manner, children will learn that other people have feelings too, and other people have needs too. And the key is, if children are raised with that approach, in the end, they will never pick up a gun when they have an issue with another person. They will resolve their conflicts in a peaceful manner. Peace always starts at home. If there is peace at home, the children will carry this on further and further than parents will ever be able to imagine, because they will treat others the same way. And they will treat their friends, their children, their grandchildren in the very same manner. So the key is always to start at home. And the mistake that most parents make is that they focus on the behavior only, and they forget about the emotions that trigger the behavior. If you focus on having a good relationship emotional wise, in the end, when the relationship is okay, the child will focus on relationships with other people too. And the funny thing is that children need to be taught that other people have emotions. And the miraculous thing is that in my parenting classes, I have to teach parents that their own children have feelings too. How stupid is that? That is
It's
something that doesn't come naturally, apparently. So that is one of the very important things of my whole approach, is how to focus on managing emotions and needs and everything that has to do with that. And getting away from just the behavior, but focusing on what triggers the behavior and fixing that. So it's a different approach than many parents have. But I hope with the book I can convince people, and I can hope that I inspire them to take a new approach on their own parenting style that they have been doing for, well, mostly quite some time.
Do you feel then that what they're learning at home, both parent and child, should then be what I call continuous wherever they go? I remember I used to tell my babysitters that just because I'm not here doesn't mean you don't enforce the same rules and regulations and what I demand from him. And that if he doesn't do as he's told, then you have permission to punish him in a way that he will understand why he's being punished and learn from being punished. And they were always surprised when I gave him that order or suggestion that they do. And I think it's because most parents don't follow through and demand that the child's behavior should be the same anywhere they go.
Mm-hmm. Well, the funny thing is, one of the steps that I teach parents is never to punish or never reward, because having a punishment or reward system in place, that means that one person is more important than the other person. And this teaches children that, well, there is inequality in the world. While if you don't use a punishment or reward system, that teaches children that they are important as well. So what I teach parents is how to approach behavior without the use of punishments and rewards. And the beautiful thing is that you don't need so many rules, because if you're just being yourself and not step into the role of being a mother or a babysitter or a grandparent, you don't need the rules. You can just say, this is unpleasant to me, or I feel unhappy when I see you doing things like that. So who needs that many rules? You can just be yourself. But it is impediment if you want to behave like that you understand your own feelings and needs. And that is something that many parents need to be taught. Yeah, it's very funny, but it's true. It's quite the contrary of what you're saying, Lillian.
They need to accept it as well. I know that.
Yeah.
That's okay. When I raised my son in the 70s, he didn't come with any workbook or manual instructions of how to do it. And I really took bits and pieces of the way that I was brought up by my parents and then try to put in what I thought would work. And he turned out pretty well. But I do notice with his own kids that every time they do something, they are awarded, and they tend to try to outdo each other to get those awards or rewards that the parents give to them. So I was just wondering, are there any more cornerstones that you provide to parents in your book? And how do you advise parents to use your book? Do they read it from cover to cover, or do they go into the certain sections that apply to them?
Well, the best thing, of course, is going from cover to cover because it's a 7-step program. And I hope with the 7 steps that I will inspire parents to do, of course, more with the material I provide them with. I hope it will inspire them to really get a grip of this material, because many parents have never really thought about parenting. They have an idea before they become a parent, and then they treat their child during years and years just using the very same system. And it's only after they have been confronted with a whole new perspective that they start thinking about it. And when I confront parents with the fact that their children have feelings too, because if you punish a child, that child will feel hurtful or feel resentful. And the funny thing is that many parents say, I give out punishments because my child will learn something. You know what children learn from punishments? Usually they learn how to avoid the punishments in the future, because of course nobody likes to be punished. And the same is true for rewarding, because some parents say, well, I don't use punishments, I use rewards. Is that the same system? Well, in fact, it is the same system, because one person decides what's going to happen, and the other person, usually the child, they have to alter their behavior. So in the end, as a parent, you're altering their authenticity, because your child adjusts their behavior all the time. And it is a very complicated system, I can tell you, using punishments and rewards. And there are libraries filled with information why you shouldn't use a system like that. And still, it is so widely used. I think it's one of the most widely used systems in parenting. And also many parenting experts, of course, tell them to do things like that. But I am convinced that the world will be a completely different place if parents start using a whole different perspective and start seeing their child as an equal person with whom you can talk and whom you can take seriously. And that is something that hasn't been done so widely yet. And I'm still convinced that it's one of the main problems in this world. Because if the children aren't taught at a young age about things like this, they will grow up thinking it's normal to give out punishments, and thus will pick up a gun if they have a conflict with other people.
I agree. So, Laura, please tell everybody where they can find you on the World Wide Web, where they can find your book and buy your book, how they can get in contact with you should they need some more advice.
Well, you can find me, of course, on the internet, laurafobler.com. And there you will be able to find me. They can also sign in for a newsletter if they like. The book, this is the book, Parents for World Peace, 7 Simple Steps for World Peace. Recently, it has gotten a new cover. So this is the new cover for the book. It's both in an ebook format and in a hard copy book. They can buy it on Amazon or in any bookshop in the world. It's available all over the world. So if people are interested in the book, of course, that would be wonderful. And if parents need more advice or have more questions, they are always welcome to shoot me an email. I'm available at info@laurafobler.com, and I will answer personally. I promise I answer all my emails all the time. So this is my promise. If parents have questions, please don't hold back. Just ask them and I will help you out.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much for joining us this morning, ladies and gentlemen, and children of all ages. You can hear this all over again next Tuesday evening from 8 to 9 p.m. on amfm247.com, on the Roku channel, on facebook.com/Passionate World Radio, on twitter.com at PIBTR Foundation, on https:// on passionateworldtalkradio.com under Cool Your Heroes, and of course on YouTube Live.com/ Passionate World Radio Network. And before you go away and stray, Jerome had this to say in 1889: if you're foolish enough to be contented, don't show it, but grumble with the rest. Thank you all very much for listening. And remember, please keep listening. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Lillian.
Thank you for joining me this morning. And if you would like an opportunity to become a talk show host, let me know. And so you can go and talk to people. You can do it either as a podcast or as a program, either 4 times a month or however you would like to do it, and reach a really wide audience, because a lot of the parents out there don't think there's anything wrong with their parenting style. At least that's the thinking here in the States. I've never been abroad, so I'm not making any claims to how the rest of the world treats it. But in the States, they're very arrogant. And the problem is a lot of them use the parenting techniques that they learned from their parents and from their grandparents. So it's certainly something to be considered. I have over 10 million people listening. I'm heard in 133 countries. So your message will go out to a lot of countries. My demographics are millennials from 18 to 35, and that's a very good breeding ground to get your message out, because if you have them now, you may even have them before they become parents, because a lot of them are putting off birthing later until the 30s, I understand. So it's something for you to consider. Let me know. I would be delighted. And in my ignorance is showing, if there's a native language you speak in the Netherlands besides English, by all means, please use your native language, because that's what an internet radio station is all about.
Okay.
I mean, that's how I feel.
Holland.
And I'm very ignorant when it comes to things like that. And I'm the first to let people know. But I really believe that if it's an internet station, it should be international.
Yeah. Well, I agree. And yes, I do speak the native language over here. It's Dutch.
Okay.
So I can do both languages.
You can do both languages. You can, translate. I can, for the first, we do videos, but I'm also setting up to offer TV channels to people who want to have, similar to Roku or Hulu or Netflix or BritBox, because cable is dying, and that's the next big thing. So if you're interested in something like that, in fact, this video next Tuesday will be aired on Roku to an audience of over 200,000 people.
Okay, wonderful.
Okay, awesome. So if you haven't been over to the website, please go over, take a look.
Yeah.
And if you have any questions, just drop me an email, and we can arrange through Zoom to speak if you like, or we can, do it through Skype, whatever's the easiest. I like Zoom better than Skype. I'm prejudiced, but whatever going to be easiest for you. I do have a free conference phone room that has international numbers that people can call into.
Okay.
So you wouldn't have to pay for it. I believe the Netherlands is here. Yes. Here's your number, +31 656 251 940. So you could always call in and do it audio if you wanted to. So
Okay.
the name of the website is Passionate World Talk radio.com, and it has, as I would say, a plethora of stuff to look at. Look under Cool Your Heels. You might be interested. I have a blog that I started 3 years ago, and I have over 60,000 email subscribers. So if you wanted to blog on it, 500 words, I welcome all my hosts to do that.
Oh, that would be wonderful, Lillian.
And you can write about, you can write once a week or, whatever you wish. One of my hosts, who's a station manager, she has a big project going on with caregivers and Alzheimer's, and she has quite a following on the blog. And it not only does it go automatically to all the subscribers, but you get posted. I belong to 10 internet radio directories, so it's put out there. It goes to iHeart and iTunes. With iTunes, you get a special code, and if you give that out to your peers and your fans, the more they use it, the more popular you become. The more popular you become, iTunes will start promoting you.
Okay.
So there are a lot of opportunities. I'll just brag a little bit more. One of my hosts was offered a radio contract with CBS terrestrial radio. Another host received an award from the governor of Massachusetts for working with Stop Healthcare Violence movement. She's trying to help the lady get a bill passed so nurses won't get beaten up on the job.
Okay.
And then an intern of mine who has Asperger's got a job with PBS.
Wow.
Public broadcasting station. Yeah.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
There's all kinds of opportunities and things going on at the station, and we're growing. So I just know that when I saw the title of your book, that this was something that really, really was needed.
Okay. Well.
And I just feel like the time is now.
Yeah, that's my feeling as well. And yeah, again, thank you so much for your invitation. And
I will send you a copy of the video, and you can use it anywhere you want.
Okay, that's wonderful.
Okay.
And yes, I'm really considering your options because they sound awesome.
Well, let me put it this way. Most of my people have been with me. I'm going into my 14th year.
Wow.
And I feel so strongly about the station that I use my Social Security to run it.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
I reinvested $15,000 into the station because I believe that you get a superior, there's all kinds of things that you get as being a talk show host. And then I try to provide additional opportunities. And I get a lot of press releases dealing with kids and different types of schools, not just in the US, but a lot in Canada. There's lots going on in Canada. And if you're interested, I can certainly forward you the press releases, and you can start an account, you're build up a rapport with them. And I gave an account with NASA to a young man who was then in Johns Hopkins. And when he graduated from George Washington U, where he got his law degree, they created a job and offered it to him because they were so impressed.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay. So I know those kind of opportunities await anybody who comes along.
Yeah. And the world is ready for messages like this.
Yes.
My feeling. Yeah. 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 That's awesome, Lillian.
Great.
So again, yeah.